Now then guys, Matty here from M&J Automotive. As you can see, we've got a nice fancy new number plate. Today we're working on a 2012 Vauxhall Zafira B 1.6 petrol, and we're going to be doing the brake master cylinder. We'll just pop around here so you can have a look at, see something. Right, currently the rear wheels are off the vehicle because I've just taken them in to get some tyres put on. It's got a pair of new tyres for the rear. So yeah, we're going to be doing the brake master cylinder, showing you a bit about how to do that sort of job, what's involved in the job. So yeah, don't forget to hit the like button, drop us a subscribe so you can keep up with future content. This vehicle is my dad's, so it will be on the channel again after this, I imagine. So yeah, hit that like button, drop us a subscribe, and yeah, see you in a bit. Right guys, so I've just done a quick time lapse there of stripping out the airbox so we can get to where we're going. And if you look under here, there is the brake master cylinder. So let's try and get you a bit closer. So yeah, there's the brake master cylinder, a couple of brake pipes there, fluid reservoir on top with the thingies, and then the nuts underneath, and one at each side to get to the brake master cylinder. Right, so what I'll do is I'll try and find a position to put you so you can roughly watch what I'll do. It's a bit of a tight area, so I can't really show you everything, which I do apologise for, but I'll try and do it as a video so I can explain what I'm doing as I'm doing it. So yeah, I'll cut out now and then cut back in a minute. Right guys, so you are currently situated in the engine bay, about as well as I can actually get you so you can actually even see anything. So first off, what we're going to do is remove these brake unions, which does mean that there will be brake fluid leaking any minute. So that is one union off. This electrical connector here needs to be off because that's fluid. That's the level sensor for the brake fluid reservoir, which would put the brake warning light on. So we'll crack this one off. Move that out of the way a minute so we can actually get underneath. So yeah, there we go. These unions are 11mm. So as you can see, I'm just using an 11mm spanner. In the background you can hear Josh trying to start his motorbike with not very much success currently. So yeah, just taking both these unions off completely, winding them out. I'm not too worried about the brake fluid dripping because brake fluid, if you know, is hygroscopic, which means it absorbs water. So when it comes to cleaning it off, just pour a bit of water down and it washes it away because it'll absorb the moisture, and then yeah, it'll absorb the moisture, and then that will gradually build up to the point where all the fluid is absorbed. Well, it's absorbed all the fluid, and there we go. It's absolutely pissing out now. That's going to be draining the fluid reservoir completely. Yeah, it'll absorb all the moisture, as I was saying, build up to the point where there's more water than brake fluid. So it'll just eventually turn into water. So yeah, not worried too much on that. It is advisable if you do get brake fluid on your paintwork in any way, you wash it off as quick as you can because it will eat into the paint, and that's when you start, and that is something you do definitely want to avoid. Just trying to get the plug off at the minute. It's a bit hard because you can't really see any of it. So seems to be quite a bit of fluid draining out there. What I'll do is, I believe the nuts are 13mm. Yep, they are. So yeah, that's rather a lot of brake fluid leaking out there. So what we're gonna have to do is once we're all built back up and everything, we're going to then retop all that brake fluid up, bleed all the brakes, and then potentially bleed the clutch up as well, because it's the clutch fluid is running off the same reservoir. Right, I'll be back in a second, guys, when I've just washed some of this brake fluid off. Alright guys, we're back in. So yeah, we're just winding these 13mm out. As you heard then, it just hissed, that's all the brake vacuum releasing. So just that's one nut off. So that is actually, as you can see, master cylinder released. So I'll try and get these brake pipes out so they're out of the way. I apologise that you can't see a lot, but it's about as well as we can hope to see. So that is the master cylinder out there. So next up, what we'll be doing is as you can hear in the background, Josh is just discussing some potential wiring job for the future. Oh, apologies guys. Can you see? Yep, you still can. So, alright. So what we're doing here is just undoing this female Torx bolt there, which was a female Torx number E7. That's a bizarre size. So yeah, that's out. So we'll just wind that out like so. So I can remove that. There we go, that's that pin out. And now the master cylinder should, in theory, just pop off the bottom of the reservoir. What I need to do is get this plug, pull it out properly, get this plug off. This plug's a bit of a bastard to do. Not wanting to release. Get this little plastic clip out the way for now. So that's that. There. And then we got what we got. So we have we just go like this, pop that off like that, and then there we go, plugs off. Right, I'll cut out and cut back in a second when we're out of the engine bay. Right guys, so now we're just going to be swapping over the expansion tank, well the expansion tank, the brake fluid reservoir, probably a better word for it, onto the new one. So we'll just get it off, which is easier said than done. There we go, nearly off. One thing you've got to remember about cars is sometimes you don't have to be gentle. There we go. Maybe a bit more gentle than that than chucking it everywhere, but yeah. So yeah, that's out of the way, and that goes back on like so. So I'll just pop these two blanks out of the way. bit of trusty silicone spray and that to make it a bit easier to go in, and then just physically force it in. There we go. That's the expansion tank back on. So what I'll do now is I'll grab the pin. I'll come back in a second. So I'm back. So now got the pin, and we'll
show us where it goes, Mech.
right there, right in there. Tighten that up. They don't have to be tight, these. This is literally just, that would suffice. It's literally just to hold that down onto the reservoir, because if you think when depressing the pedal, it's under pressure because of the pressurized system. So it's just literally to hold it on, stop it popping out of there, and stop you losing the braking. So take its little thong off out of the way, and then that. Well, a couple of blanks here for the threaded part of the master cylinder, and then we'll be back in a second when we're installing it. Right guys, we're back now, and we have the master cylinder ready to fit. So first off, what we're going to do is you've got to line it up with the pin in there. Which is easier said than done. What am I chucking on the floor? Make sure you get both like that. There we go, that's a bit better. Right, so what we'll do is nuts on these nuts. So, bastard, that's on the floor at least. So, well, it's alright, it's English. Joshy boy. I would, I'd like you to retrieve my nut, thank you very much. Oh, that tickles, Josh.
Oh, that's a very big nut back here.
Well, there have been little complaints.
I don't believe that for a moment. I've seen your OnlyFans page.
Yes, it's full of fans, Josh.
Yes. Fans, air conditioning fans.
Air conditioning fans, radiator fans, fancy fans. Right, so now we'll just tighten these nuts up. I'll do it by hand, so then at least I know exactly how tight it's going to be. And if anyone requires any torque settings for any of these, please do ask. I will not be using a torque wrench on it, because I'm at the point where my experience tells me how tight things need to be, but I can, and I'm more than willing to provide any torque settings for anything that anybody requires. So yeah, please feel free to ask any of that side, anything with regards to torque settings. So one in and two in like that, and then we'll plug the electrical connector in like so. The little plastic pipe round the side, we will slot that on. That's on there. And now start threading the brake pipe unions on. Starting at the back one, the hardest one to get to, would make sense. Well, to me it makes sense, but apologies, people. But to me that makes sense. But it's one of them. Do it however you feel best doing. Now I'll just find my 11mm spanner, which I've conveniently put down and cannot find. Found it. There we go. I apologise that this is a long drawn out process, but to make sure it's done right, it is worth spending that little extra time doing. Just slowly, catchy monkey, tighten these brake pipe unions up. This back one's a little bit tighter than finger tight, but not quite ready for spanner tight, if you understand what I mean by that. So you won't get anywhere with trying to do it by hand, but it's very slack when you put a spanner on it. Sounds like double Dutch, it does, but it makes sense.
Just that it's tight, but it's not tight.
Exactly, it's tight but it's not tight. As long as you're not tightening up till it goes loose, you're alright.
Like righty-loosey?
Yeah, right. You definitely don't want it to be righty-loosey unless it is a left-handed thread. And yes, there is such a thing as left-handed thread.
Yeah, just get an angry spanner and cut it.
And I can even give you an example. A BMW N47 oil pump is left-handed thread on the Torx bolt at the bottom that holds the pulley on.
I can give you a much more exciting example.
Go on.
Push-bike pedals.
Yep, push-bike pedals, there you go. I thought you said exciting, Josh. It depends.
More exciting than a BMW.
Well, it depends if you like exercise or not, which I do not.
Well, I don't. I just know that one's left-hand thread and one's normal thread.
Right, there we go. That's them nipped up, people. So now what we do is,
You want to get a brew?
well, yes, that is the most important part of any job that you undertake. The cup of tea, no, the fag can go suck a dick. But a brew is the most important part of any job you're going to undertake. So now what we're going to do is get the brake bleeder out, make sure that is completely full of brake fluid, attach it to brake fluid reservoir, so that and pump that up to pressure, so that can be filling the reservoir, pressurizing the system, and then we can start at the back. You always start, when you're bleeding the brakes, you always start at the furthest bleed nipple from the reservoir. That way, it's the last point in the system where it'd be. So that's where you start from. So yeah, we'll cut back in when we've got the pressure bleeder on, when we're pumping that up, and then we'll show you the bleeding of the brakes. So yeah, thank you guys, and we'll see you shortly. So now we're on and we are pumping up the brake bleeder. We're using a Sealy manual brake bleeder here. And we'll just put it up to about 25 psi. Don't want to go too far with it. Right, so that's that pumped up. Next up, what we'll do is we'll go to, with this brake fluid reservoir being on the offside, we're going to go to the near side rear wheel, which is currently off anyway, and start bleeding the brakes from there. So we'll cut back in shortly. Right guys, so we're here and we are going to start bleeding the brakes at the near side rear, so bleed nipple here. We've got an 11mm spanner, which it is not. Brilliant. So we're going to go for 10, I would have said. Right, we'll cut back in when we've got the right size spanner. Right, we're back and we've got a 10. So I'll put it, chuck it on the floor. Right, just crack off the bleed nipple and let it trickle out like so. It'll take a while for it to push the air from the top of the system right the way through to this point.
want me to check the pressure on the wheel?
Yeah, you can do, mate. Yeah, just let this bleed. Oh, there we go, we've got some air bubbles coming through. That's what you can see, guys. Yep, you can, just up here. Just some bubbles speckling through. Yeah. And just let all that air push through the system until it's clear. Quite a bit of it, because if you think once we took the reservoir off, the master cylinder off, it was a lot of brake fluid did leak out. Right, and we're at the point where the bubbles have stopped. So what we'll do now is, what I always tend to do is tighten it back up for like so, and leave it approximately 20 seconds, and then open it up again. So yeah, what we'll do is we'll open her up again and see if there's any further air in the system. Just like that. Push through. Still nice and pressurised, Josh. There you go. That's looking absolutely wonderful. So yeah, what we'll do now is we'll just tighten this one up. Like so. And then clean that caliper off. Work our way around. Then now go into the offside rear, near side front, offside front. We're not going to show you it all because it just means repeating the process over and over again. We'll just do that all off camera. We might cut back in when it comes to bleeding the clutch, because that is slightly a different process just because of the location of it. But yeah, we'll cut back in shortly, guys. Right guys, so it's the next day now. We've been working on this 2012 Vauxhall Zafira. We did the brake master cylinder. I've just got back from a road test with it. Everything's gone peachy. Everything's working as it should. All brakes are working perfectly fine. So yeah, I'm happy with this one. This one's done, out of the way, ready for my dad to have it back. And so that's all sorted. So I would just like to thank everyone for watching the video. It does mean a great deal to us, the support we've actually been getting. We are very new to this. We're 3 weeks in, I think, to trying YouTube. Obviously I've been working on cars for a long time, but actually filming what I'm doing is a complete new kettle of fish. Didn't have a clue where to start, but thought may as well give it a go. So yeah, we do really appreciate everyone that watches. Don't forget to drop us a comment if you want any advice, if you like what we've been filming, if you want to see anything in particular. Drop us a comment in there, and please make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can keep up with future content, see how far we can actually go with this. So yeah, thanks guys for watching.
Like and subscribe.